Most people will spend their 20s performing the appearance of success, buying things they can't afford, posting experiences they put on credit, and quietly telling themselves the wealth part comes later. It doesn't. The habits you build before 35 don't just shape your finances, they compound into the entire architecture of your financial life. And the brutal reality is this: the people who become wealthy in their 40s and 50s started building the machine in their 20s and early 30s, while everyone else was still figuring out which streaming service to cancel. You're not late, but you're not early either. Here are 10 wealth-building habits you need to lock in before 35. Habit number 10. You decide what your money does before it arrives. Reactive money management is why most people are broke. You get paid. Something comes up, the money leaves. Repeat for 40 years. Wealthy people run their money on intention, not emotion. Before the paycheck hits, the allocation is already set. A fixed percentage goes to investing. A fixed percentage goes to savings. A fixed percentage goes to living. This is not a budget. This is a financial operating system. The moment your income arrives with no instructions, your lifestyle will spend it for you. Every time, without fail. Set the instructions before the money shows up. Your future self doesn't care how good the excuse was. Habit 9. You build one skill, deep enough to be expensive. The market doesn't reward generalists who know a little about everything. It pays a premium for people who know one thing at a level most others can't reach: sales, financial modeling, software development, persuasive writing, data interpretation, high-stakes negotiation. Pick one. Go deep, then go deeper. Here's what nobody tells you about skill income. Two people with the same skill can have incomes that are worlds apart. Not because of talent, but because of the market they're selling into. A financial analyst working for a local firm and a financial analyst working for a hedge fund are doing adjacent work. The gap in compensation isn't about IQ. It's about positioning. Before 35, your single most important financial move is to become so genuinely good at one thing that the market has no choice but to pay you more for it. Everything else, investing, passive income, multiple streams, that all gets easier when your primary income is strong. Build the skill, move up the market, stack the gap. Habit 8. You treat lifestyle inflation like the enemy it is. Every time your income grows, there's a pull. A quiet voice that says you've earned an upgrade. New apartment, better car, more expensive habits. The lifestyle adjusts upward, the savings rate stays the same, and 10 years later you're earning 3 times what you earned at 25 and somehow still living paycheck to paycheck. This is lifestyle inflation. It feels like a reward. It is actually the primary reason high earners don't build wealth. The wealth isn't in what you earn. It's in the gap between what you earn and what you spend, deployed consistently into assets. A person earning 80 lakhs a year and spending 75 lakhs is in a structurally worse position than someone earning 40 lakhs and investing 15 lakhs of it. Before 35, protect the gap with the same aggression you'd protect your salary. The gap is the engine. Don't let lifestyle eat the engine. Habit 7. You invest before you talk yourself out of it. Timing the market is a game that professionals with research teams, Bloomberg terminals, and decades of experience consistently lose. You're not going to win it either. The habit isn't finding the perfect entry point. The habit is investing consistently, automatically, and without ceremony. 500 a month into an index fund at 10% average annual return across 30 years becomes over $1 million. Not because of brilliance, because of patience and consistency applied without interruption. Automate it, make it invisible. If you don't see it, you don't spend it, and you don't overthink it. The people who get wealthy in the market aren't the ones who made the smartest calls. They're the ones who stayed in the longest without panicking. Start now, invest something, then don't touch it. Habit 6. You use debt as leverage, not as a lifestyle tool. There are two types of people in the world: people who borrow to consume and people who borrow to acquire. Borrowing to consume means financing holidays, fashion, restaurant tabs, and gadgets. Liabilities dressed up as experiences. You end up paying interest on things that no longer exist in your life for years after the moment has passed. Borrowing to acquire means using capital to purchase something that generates a return, a rental property, a business, an investment with yield. You use someone else's money to make yourself richer. That's leverage. That's how significant wealth gets built faster than savings alone ever could. The rule before 35 is simple. If the debt doesn't generate more than it costs, you don't take it on. If an asset can service its own debt and produce income beyond it, that debt is a tool. Don't confuse financial products designed to make you feel wealthy with the actual process of becoming wealthy. Habit 5, you build the second income stream, while the first one is stable. Most people intend to diversify their income one day. When things slow down, when there's more bandwidth, when life gets less busy. Life doesn't get less busy, it gets differently busy. Research consistently shows that the majority of self-made millionaires had 3 or more income streams before they crossed their first million. Not after, before. A side business, a dividend portfolio, rental income, an online product, consulting. The form matters less than the existence. The second income stream doesn't need to be significant in year 1. It needs to exist because once you've built income outside of a paycheck, you understand the mechanism. The third stream comes faster, the fourth faster still. Build the second stream now while the first one still works. Because if you wait until the first one breaks, you're building from scarcity instead of strength. Habit 4, you know your net worth, not just your salary. Ask most people what they're worth and they'll tell you their salary. Those are not the same thing. Not even close. Your salary is what someone else pays you. Your net worth is what you've actually kept. Assets minus liabilities. That single number, tracked monthly, tells you whether your financial life is actually moving or just performing motion. You can earn well and have a negative net worth. It happens constantly to doctors, lawyers, senior professionals who look successful on the outside and are quietly drowning in structured debt. Track your net worth every month. Watch the number move. The discipline of measurement creates the discipline of decision-making. You cannot grow what you refuse to measure, and you can't optimize a race you're not keeping score on. The number is the truth. Build the habit of knowing it. Habit 3, you invest in yourself before you invest in anything else. You are the highest returning asset in your portfolio. Not your index fund, not your rental, you. Every skill you develop, every book that expands how you think, every mentor who compresses your learning curve, these investments compound through everything else in your financial life. The return isn't linear, it's exponential, because a better version of you makes better decisions across every other category. The wealthy understand this. They have a dedicated budget for their own development, their body, their mind, their relationships, their environment. They treat personal development as a non-negotiable operating expense, not an optional luxury for when finances are comfortable. 30 minutes of reading a day across a decade gives you a staggering informational edge over the average person. A coach who accelerates your career by 2 years has a return profile that makes most investment vehicles look pedestrian. Invest in yourself consistently and without apology. You are the operating system. Upgrade it relentlessly. Habit 2, you think in decades, while everyone else thinks in months. Compounding is not exciting. That's the secret nobody tells you. For the first 5 years, almost nothing appears to happen. The 6th year, things move slightly. By year 10, the machine starts running. By year 20, the numbers become difficult to comprehend rationally. Most people exit their positions at year 2 because nothing dramatic has happened yet. They weren't wrong about the investment, they were wrong about the timeline. Before 35, your greatest competitive advantage is time, not intelligence, not connections, not starting capital. Time. Because you have it, and compounding rewards patience at a rate that accelerates with every year you hold. Ask every financial decision you make one question. Will my 65-year-old self be grateful for this? If yes, execute without hesitation. If no, walk away without negotiation. The future self always votes for compounding. Let them cast the vote. Habit 1, you decide, and you stay decided. Every habit on this list is available to you right now. You don't need more money, better circumstances, or a different starting point. You need one decision that you do not reverse. The most expensive financial choice most people make isn't a bad investment. It's the indecision that costs them years of compounding they can never recover. Staying in the same financial patterns because change requires commitment and commitment feels like risk. But here's the truth. The risk of inaction is always greater than the risk of a directionally correct decision made and held. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. Decide what kind of financial life you're building. Build it every day, even slowly. The trajectory matters more than the speed. Your 35-year-old self will not be defined by what you knew. They'll be defined by what you committed to and refused to walk away from. Decide today. If this hit differently than what you usually watch, because it was meant to, then do 3 things right now. Drop a comment with the habit you're committing to starting this week, share this with someone who needs to hear it before it's too late for them, and subscribe. Because here we talk about wealth every day. The ones who stay are the ones who build.